Yo.
Chill.
It is Abstract Square Podcast. We got my guy B.
Here, baby. What's going on, people?
We got no, actually, he's not a special guest anymore.
No.
Nah.
He's a vet.
No. Nah.
Oh, okay.
He's a vet.
He's
All
a
right.
vet. Yo, once you come a second time,
Whoa.
you get pause.
Jesus. All right. This is how you going to introduce me? Oh,
Back to
my
back.
God.
Back to back.
Hey, yo.
Water
pause.
breaks. No water breaks.
Yo, it's my guy, Gray Rizzy.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Guys, what's going on?
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
It's nice
Yo.
and cozy in here.
Yeah. Yo, one thing I felt bad. I was telling him on the way here. One thing that I forgot to do last time was like give Rizzy a proper introduction.
Oh, yeah. No, let's
I
do
felt
that.
bad about that. I was like, yo, we gotta have my man come back and really let the people know who you are and what you do, man.
Well, I'm just a homie, man. You know? I just happen to talk to a couple million people every day.
See,
Every day.
light
Every
flex,
day.
the light flex on that. That's why. So really, tell people what you do, Rizzy.
I'm a a on-air personality over at Ciroc'ing. I represent Shade 45,
Talk about
Eminem's
it.
channel. The hype is always real. And,
Always.
I'm up there Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. So I'm either talking some lunchtime shit or some morning time shit,
Let's
depending
talk
on
about
where
it.
you're at in America. Oh,
Right.
actually, throughout the world, because
I hear that.
we do a
It's
lot.
everywhere.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I'm still the homie.
Always.
You are still the homie. You the
Yeah.
homie to us, but people don't know you. So I just wanted to make sure.
Well, for all your followers, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Gray Rizzy, GrayRizzy.
Hashtag we out here.
We out here.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Word. So tell us, how was your week though, really quick?
Very good. Very good. I had a chance to kick it with like Jermaine Dupri this week.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of a couple of people. It's
J-Rock.
J-Rock, definitely. Redemption is out. The funny thing, I'm not just going to shout out everybody. It's just you just really get to push the culture, and I don't use that. I hate people who say that just really not organically or just
Yeah.
not real about it. They use that as a cliche. My daughter's birthday is coming up, so
Yeah.
I had her up with me in the studio this week.
Nice.
It's just fun, man. Our son is traveling, and my
Yeah.
wife is good. Life is good, man.
I hear
Bet,
that.
happy birthday, Chubbs.
Yeah.
Hey, happy birthday to your daughter, too.
Thank
Yes,
you,
happy
thank-
birthday to Chelsea. That's right. Yeah, her
that's
birthday just
right.
passed too,
Yeah.
man.
It's
Yeah,
so
man.
wild because Chelsea was supposed to be born on Chubbs' birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But Chelsea being Chelsea, she's like, nah, fuck that.
Fuck that.
I had my own day. We
Right,
gonna
she's
celebrate.
Like, nah, I need my own day for this, yo.
Right, man.
Yeah, it was cool. We kept it, pretty simple. We did something in the classroom, and then we're going on vacation next week, so we'll extend it.
I hear
let
that.
her know we're doing some things in Florida for her.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you, B?
My week was all right. Actually, I caught a Sir J-Rock show. Sir brought J-Rock out on Tuesday. It was a nice little show in Brooklyn. And when I tell you, talk about organic, nobody expected him to come out there. So when, he came out and did his Win single, the crowd exploded.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
As they should.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
it was a good feeling to kind of get that organic excitement. You don't get that very often.
Yeah, it's
That was
overdue
cool.
for J-Rock, man.
Yeah, he's here. But outside of that, just work. And I'm actually on my, last day in the States. Tomorrow I'm headed out on vacation. Actually, so by the time the listeners hear this, I'll be, white
Wine-
jeans,
White wine
white,
pontings.
white tank top with the mesh,
Wine pontings.
sandals or no sandals.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna reveal the fits, but
Yo.
but we gonna be out here. So yeah, it's been a rough week, but I'm ready to go and relax.
Yo, as long as you don't got no thong slippers out here.
Yo,
B.
don't talk about the thong slippers, yo.
Damn.
Everybody fluid out here, yo. we gender fluid.
Not.
We accept it all.
Non-gender specific.
Oh man, but I mean, I think it actually, that kind of runs into what we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
We had some great feedback, and first off, thanks to the listeners who, give us feedback and tell us what they want to hear. One topic in particular that we touch on every episode, I think, that we really need to kind of dive in is hyper masculinity. What does it mean?
Talk about
We also kind of look at, the male figure in society and media, and there's also this depiction of what we are supposed to be, and especially as black men. So we're gonna get into kind of what that means to you, what that means to black men, what that means as dealing with black women and all women around the world. But I think it's something we should talk about a little deeper, because there's some things that's out here that I'm confused about.
Talk to us. What are you confused about?
So
exactly?
I mean, maybe we can back up to hypermasculinity. I mean, I think,
can we get a definition? Because I don't know. Whenever you say hypermasculinity, I'm just thinking about guys running around trying to hump everything. So let's just give a clear definition.
So
'cause I'm curious.
I'm
personally.
paraphrasing here, but it's
I got it.
You got it?
Yep,
Read
I got
that.
it.
Let's
All
go.
right.
I like this.
So it's a psychological term for the exaggeration of male stereotypical behavior, such as an emphasis on physical strength, aggression, and sexuality.
Yeah. That's deep. So it runs across the gambit. But I think what I had to do is kind of take it back a little bit. And it runs all the way back to slavery, when, these black men were put up on a pedestal and depicted as these brick walls, these, icons of strength, because you're going to be in the field, you're going to be working, you're going to be doing that. And that was, attractive to the slave owners who wanted to do that. Right. And it carries on to the rest of society. I think you can understand that depiction of being strong carries through in hip hop and, owning a household and taking care of family. And, it's something that is very important that women are attracted to, that they will, admit to, but it also is a downfall because you have things like Me Too and other, aspects in society that, people don't really agree with. So there's a deep running to this hypermasculinity thing. And I know I have trouble with it.
I think we saw a transition of that earlier on, especially in cable, when there were shows that depicted male nurses.
Yep.
And it was like, wow, there's a male nurse.
Yep.
And so it's like they gradually sort of like shoved it in our faces. Like, look, this is the direction we're going in society, is we want to be able to now blend what was once, I can't even use the word female anymore.
Nah, women.
Women-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't use that?
Nah,
we can't say female.
apparently
Nope.
I got checked for using the word female on the last couple of shows.
Definitely women. Don't do it.
Let me ask you this question. Come on, man. Like,
I
know. Y'all can't see it. B almost spit his coffee out, man. But I just always, I sometimes wonder, like, are we oversensitive, man?
We
but
are.
I don't want to get off the topic. But when you say I can't say female, well, female and male is part of the.
It's what we check on an application, right? We don't have an issue with checking that box when we're going for a mortgage or applying for a job. So that was sort of my issue when I first heard that was an issue. Like, I
didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, like
it's a thing,
some folks have an issue with the word female, and I'm like, how do I describe my daughter? I can't. She's not a woman yet.
She's not a woman yet. And if I say girl, then I feel like that's going to do something.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like sometimes we're a little oversensitive about things, but I get it. Like, it's probably behind in a lot of the conversations that we should be having. So, it kind of, I guess it kind of balances out. But when I hear like the strong pushback, I'll be like, oh man, come on. You know what I mean, man.
Right.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I think it boils down to, upbringing. Like, maybe we can go around and Brick, Chad, you've had strong examples of men in your life, and some, you learn by observing, some teach you,
Right.
But I know that I, have been taught to have that, strong demeanor. Don't show emotions.
Because you're West Indian.
Yeah.
So I know that's huge.
Very huge.
Amongst the West Indian
culture.
And,
in our upbringing, it's not even discussed. It's, I just saw it, through my dad, my uncles, cousins, everybody. You just don't show that emotion. You walk it off and you work, you work hard and get it done.
Yeah, like I've never seen my father cry.
Yeah.
In the years of my existence, through the passing of close family members, for him, I've never seen him shed one tear.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, whenever I've had some tough situations in the past and I've become emotional, I kind of hesitate on how far I go in front of my dad, because I know he's never really shown that type of emotion in front of me. So I don't know how he would actually take it to see me teary-eyed or crying.
I see that one meme where the dude be like, "What?" That's what I see. But you know what? I think it's something that we need to get past, right? Because it's human, right? We all done it. We all cry. We all feel that. But I mean, maybe next time you let it go.
Right. I mean, for you, Rizzy, raising a young man, you know, like how do you sort of navigate those waters for him growing up and him showing emotions? Like, how do you navigate that?
Well, you both talked about your households, right? And how you just said, Jay, how would my dad feel? Like, I never seen my dad cry. I never used to see my dad, so you know, for me, it's a little different with raising a young one because I want to show him a lot of different things. I had a lot of women in my life, and some of you know when somebody like a Hove say, you know, my girl talking about B is a lot harder than, you know, a lot of y'all niggas out here.
Yeah.
I feel that way about a lot of women.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, women can be
Respect
a lot
that.
harder than most of these guys out here, especially nowadays, because I see some real fuckboy shit going on there. But the for me and our son, I just want to make sure that he understands different emotions, you know, not to be afraid to let certain things out, but also not crying over every little thing.
Yeah,
you know,
there's a balance.
There has to be a balance, and I think overall, life is just about balance. And I know that's just a real blanket statement, but just like we were talking about earlier in the car, time and place, and just really being able to understand different situations. He's young right now, but at the same time, being able to process. Right. And what does that process mean to you right now? And I'm not trying to break it down into like scientific methods and, you know, sociological and psychology and all that. Nah, like, what do you feel right now?
Right.
Explain it to me the best you can in your words, and then we'll take it from there. And then I'll tell you how I see it. And maybe mom will tell you how she sees it.
Yeah.
But just I think the communication is key.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So, B, do you feel like we're going towards hyper masculinity or away from it right now?
I think it's being questioned. I think it's always going to be there because it's a foundation in society across the board that is going to take years to, I'm not going to say unlearn, but, you know, be addressed. But I think we're going towards a place where we're aware that it's a problem. It can be problematic. Right. And I mean, an example I can give is like on the other side of people who, you know, especially for black men who are afraid of us, because they have this idea of, you know, this person that's going to hurt you, this person who, you know, is a threat, you know, and that's the part that I'm happy to address as far as this hyper masculinity, this hyper threat, because it's costing us our lives, you know, and that's the part that I'm excited to hear this conversation go forward to a place where it's just like, okay, we're all human. We're not, you know, a threat. Yes, we are strong men, but we're not going to choke you out. You don't have to cross the street. You don't have to clutch your purse, you know?
Right. Yo, that's so funny that you say that because I was having a conversation at work this week with a black woman.
Oh, okay.
Can we say black? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Woman of enriched melanin.
Someone's going to check me on that, too, I'm sure.
It's going down. It's definitely going down.
Problematic.
But we were talking about, like, our personalities in the workplace. She's a senior leader at the agency.
Okay.
And I told her that sometimes in meetings I step back a little because I don't want to come off as the angry black man. You know, like it's
a real thing.
I'm really process driven, and when I believe strongly in a structure, I push forward on it, and I could be a little aggressive sometimes, but it's for the greater good of the business, right? So I have to be cognizant when I'm pushing back on certain initiatives to watch my tone, even in emails. Like now in the workplace, I don't like sending emails. Whenever I'm talking about something extremely serious, I go straight into, can we chat live real quick? Phone.
In person or like on the phone?
On a phone, in person, or I'll set up a meeting because when they see me in the office, and Thomas has talked about it before, I don't look like your typical black male, black man in the office. You know, I dress a certain way. I'm really relaxed, but yeah, I'm professional, and I think that's how I've gained my respect. But for those who draw assumptions, they'll look at me and say, "Nah, forget it. This guy," or some people may look at me as a kid because I don't look my age. Nah, I'm not listening to this kid. So I like to talk live and not come off aggressive in the workplace because I can see, especially in an agency setting where the percentage of us is very low, I have a small chance of getting it right, and I need to make sure I'm right every time.
Fuck that. I'm gonna say that. You know why? Because I feel passionate about that. Like when you say I don't look like your typical black man. Look, all three of us are sitting in this room, right? And there is no typical.
What is the typical black
man?
And that's the part that I think is good for us to get to.
Right. No. So when I say that, I'm saying that speaking based on how we're being presented in the workplace, right? They are generalizing us.
Always.
They are generalizing us. So, you know, there's people that look like us in this room, but then there's also that other black man who doesn't look like us, right? He's got on the button up, the shirt, he is tucked, he has got the smile, he's got everything that appeases to that demographic.
And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
It's just we all choose to go our different paths, and if that's the direction that his upbringing, then brother, do it, right? But for me, that's just not how I move and operate. You know, I'm.
Now, there maybe is a question about black women versus dealing with other men. Do you feel like you need to dial it back for other people around the office, or is it specific to not wanting to intimidate women in general? Is there you see a difference in that? Because for me, I try not to tone it back. I know that there's a certain way that I need to address, certain situations when it comes to women. It's about respect. But I also feel like for men, it's a little different. I don't treat it the same way, and it might not be right, but I don't think I hold back or treat it with the sensitivity that I do,
Right.
Maybe because I do care and make sure that I don't want to upset, those women. But when it comes to men, I'm like, yo, what are you doing? I'm very brash and it's almost respected in a way, that they don't care. I come at them any type of way.
So, I'm hypersensitive to women in the office right now, especially right now.
You scared?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very scared.
Yeah,
right now.
very scared. You know, I keep it on the straight and narrow. I don't play these games. I keep it 100 about business, and I go home. I don't enjoy the happy hour so much because things get out of hand,
This
and
is true.
I've seen it get out of hand. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine who works somewhere else. We had lunch last week, and he's telling me how during the happy hour, some of the women, they're almost 15 years younger than him, approaching him sexually during happy hours, and one of them happened to go to HR on one of his colleagues for sexually harassing her, and now she's approaching him sexually.
Mm-hmm.
He's black and she's Caucasian, and so he's like, yo, you just went to my colleague for sexual harassment. How do I know you're not gonna?
That's fucked up. That's number one. I just gotta ask you a question about it. You say he's black and she's Caucasian. See, it just to me, this PC shit is just getting too much, man.
Yeah, it is.
You didn't say he's African American and she's Caucasian, or you know, he's black, she's white, whatever.
Right.
But my thing is, when it comes to the workplace, it's almost like you have to adapt in a game. You know how they were saying with defense in the NFL, which I know is another story, and please do not attack me for this shit. But it's like, you know how the defense, they had to learn how to relearn how to tackle and stuff. Right. So you have to adapt to the refs, right? To how the game is being called. Same thing with basketball. Something happened with me at work where the one thing that I don't like is when women, they'll say, hey, equal rights, equal pay. It's exactly what they deserve because they do just as much, sometimes more work. Right? But then don't act like the damsel in distress at work either.
No.
Because that's something I despise. I don't like it. But in this particular case at work, this woman, even though she was very lackadaisical in her approach about what she was doing or whatever, she just... Even when I said it, I didn't say it jokingly. I was like, hey, come on, we behind the gun. We got to pick it up, blah, 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 blah. She felt like she was embarrassed because of the guests that we had in the studio, which it wasn't embarrassing at all. To be honest with you, I had to kind of circle back and ask in a way that wouldn't really bring them like, hey, why are you asking me this? But I asked them, and they was like, yeah, I didn't even fucking really think about this chick like that. It didn't even enter my mind.
Right.
But what she did is she went to a higher up and said some things and then put me in a position where it really could have hurt me for something that was very, very simple, and actually she was at fault on. So it's like whenever we like in the workplace, I almost feel like you have to go above and beyond, not only to cover yourself,
right,
but just to make sure the people who might be even viewing you, it may not even be that person. Sometimes it could be somebody else that feels a certain type of way about whatever the act is.
Yeah.
And it just gets me to the point where I'm like, yo, talking about being, hyper masculine, hypersensitive, it's almost like, yo, the game is playing at such a high level, like you're playing 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of yourself just to make sure you're not going to get jammed up a week, 2 weeks, a month later.
Right, man. I mean, I think in a way it is good, right? Because we now have to be accountable, right? Not that we are the offenders, but I think that for all the other fuck shit that's happening, we got to be extra careful to show that example of like, look, it's not always like that. Like, not all men are trash, and I'm very, very conscious. And I think more men are starting to get, aware and understand that they got to really not walk on eggshells, but think about their actions before, before they come out.
Right.
Especially for the crazy, the loose cannon that you got at work, man.
Yeah.
He just be saying some wild Uncle Tom, like just Uncle, not even Uncle Tom. That was bad. Not Uncle Tom. Take that back. But just the crazy uncle at the barbecue.
Yeah.
Yo, you can't say that around here. I don't even want to have this conversation with you because now I'm party to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to.
How does that? So now, like, I want to talk about outside of work. Like, I know y'all are both married, and so you aren't in the streets like that. But for me, I'm even aware of it, out in the streets, on the scene. Like, I'm very careful about how and what I say. Flirting is not really my forte, but in those conversations, like, I'm thinking about, is Reckless B gonna come out? Because if Reckless B comes out, like, I might say something, and Reckless B has no filter,
Right.
It's okay to go tit for tat, but like now I'm holding back because I don't want to offend. Like, I don't want to get to that place where, someone is thrown off by, something that I said and the whole situation is a wrap.
Right. I think we're at that place right now is because of social media.
Yeah.
We're privy to so much more. Before, I think there was more of an interaction, but now we have a line of sight into all these issues that are happening around the world, and I think that's part of why we are a lot more hesitant, because you probably would have seen someone online somewhere acting crazy, and you're like, yo, not me, not today.
Nah.
You don't want to be that guy.
Nah, definitely not.
I think that's what it comes down to, is like, you don't ever want to be that guy. You don't want to be the story, either or, right? So like,
it's a case by case basis.
It's a case by case basis.
Man,
you rather play it cool. You don't want to play yourself, embarrass yourself, because that one girl you talking crazy to is big as New York is as small as New York is.
This is true, but at the same time, man, like, I don't want people to feel like they're handcuffed for being a good person. Like, you almost have to. It's like you're running around with bumpers. Like when you go bowling, you got to put the bumpers down because nobody wants to fall in the gutter. Well, you've been a straight shooter all your life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not falling left or right into the gutter.
Right.
But because you got like some wild person, like, sometimes everybody isn't wrapped right. And then sometimes people are just manipulative.
Right.
And they'll do things just to make them seem like they were in a bad position just to bring you down. And it's not about right or wrong. It's about making you look bad, whether you be a man or a woman. So for me, I think, like you was talking about the happy hour, just stay away from that shit altogether.
No
because
DMs.
you gotta really protect yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Like you go to the happy hour and you speak to somebody a certain way. She's already lit or he's already lit, and it might just be something very subtle. The next Monday or the next morning, maybe it's not even a Friday, maybe the next morning, now you're the talk topic.
Right.
At the water cooler.
Yeah.
You just got to learn how to avoid certain situations and scenarios.
Yeah, it's so funny because in my line of business there is a piece where you must network.
Absolutely.
And so I get sort of like criticized for not joining the happy hours.
Nah, you could.
But if I have to choose, I'd rather be criticized for not being there and knowing I have a job to support my family, because I don't want to be the story. Even if I go and something happens, and even if I didn't do it, I still have to go home and explain to my wife the situation.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a balance. I think, and it's finding that balance. Like, you don't have to take shots of tequila with everybody, but you can definitely, maybe have a little glass of Merlot, chat, and then keep it moving.
Yo, I don't drink. I don't drink at the functions. The ones I do go to.
Okay.
I have gone to some, but for the ones I do go to, I don't drink.
You looked me dead in my eye, and I thought you said you don't drink, period. I was like, yeah. Really?
No.
No.
I'm back drinking, y'all.
Yeah.
But I don't drink at those functions, man.
Yeah.
I need to be on point 100% because when I go to these functions, I am the HR representative.
And you're in a different ballgame. You really can't play. For me, it's a little different, right? And depending on industry tech, especially startups, like the lines are being blurred, right? Mm-hmm. Coworkers are friends, friends are coworkers. They hang out on the weekend more than they do at work.
Yeah.
And that's where you start to run into funny business. And, you do have to cross that line every once in a while, especially if you get close with these people and spend more time at work than you do at home. Yeah. But I mean, I can have fun and do that, but for you, it's a very clear cut.
So when I first started at this job, one of my colleagues was talking to me about his weekend, and he mentioned smoking marijuana, and he looked at me waiting for the cue for me to be like, "Yeah, man,
he gave you the setup.
Fuck all the way out of here. Like, nah, we not. No, this is not what we do." I'm not gonna relate to you. And how dare you even bring that up as a topic of discussion, thinking that I can relate to you on that level.
Cheers to you to not
no
bucking at him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah, we not having this discussion. We're moving on from this topic.
Yo, Rick, how does it work for you? I can't even imagine in the media industry where there's business, but there's also it's culture, it's lifestyle, and people make their living and also have the greatest times of their life,
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'll hang out with somebody. Well, first of all, I've never smoked in my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's one thing that I never really have to having that conversation about. But on the other side, like I deal in hip hop and pop and rock and shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a big drinker either.
Yeah.
So like some of the things I'm already safe from because it's just a personal choice on my end. But there's times like, say for instance, I'm not a strip club person, and I'm saying all this shit like I'm not fucking fun. I'm fucking cool.
Yeah, he's cool as shit.
I'm fun as a motherfucker. But I know people are like, I don't want to hang out with this guy. But say for instance, if I have to go to a strip club, I'm usually in there. Like most places, I'm in there for a certain reason. Whether I'm there to support somebody, go meet somebody for a meeting, come support their artist, whatever like that. I'm there for a reason, and there's usually a time that is associated with that. So I'll come in and I'll get there. Most places I got 45 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And then I'm gone. Like I might do a Jameson and ginger ale, something light, or beer. I don't even really drink beer like that, but if somebody say, "Hey, we got some beer," like customary, I'm not turning it down. All right, come on, man, let's cling,
right.
Cheers, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I'm there, I spin, I talk, I network, and then I'm gone because I know I have someone at home I have to answer to.
Yep.
To be honest with you, it's not really even the person I'm scared of. It's my wife.
Word.
It's my wife,
Yeah,
she
She's
don't crazy.
Play. She don't play.
I don't really,
Confirmed.
And I have these conversations with my listeners. Like I don't want to have that problem at home.
Right.
And once you look, a lot of people may not be married. Like, fuck that. Well, I'm not married. Look, once you are not only accountable to yourself but to others, like your wife, your kids, your family, whether like that, things start to change, man. They start to change quick. Now, if you are single and you out here wilding, you are at risk because eventually it's going to come up. It's going to blow up in your face.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? It's almost like it's not as hard as an F. And for people who've never been through the system or you don't got friends that been through the system, an F is a felony. It's not as bad as an F, but socially you can still have that F and it can make you a pariah. Mm-hmm. So you just want to handle yourself the correct way, still be fun, still be outgoing, but you got to be respectful out here.
Yeah, the crazy part about us and being pariahs is that why do we feel like it has so much more of an impact if we slip up? I mean, you look at other races, right? I know I've heard examples and stories about some of my white coworkers in previous jobs having sex in the office. People just talk about it like it's nothing, and
Like,
it's
literally in the office.
literally in a conference room.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
But like, it's like, that was cool. Yeah, that's funny. But if I would ever get caught in my mind with my dick out anywhere in the office, like, I feel like it would be a wrap.
You know what it is? Because the difference between us and them is privilege, right? And we only get
one shot.
Our mind is programmed to understand that we got one shot.
Yeah,
that is it. And we talked about that a little bit way back. Actually, Rizzy, you were on the episode when we talked about one shot, and when it comes to like job offers, how we accept it on the first go is because we believe that is the only shot that we have.
It's like my only chance to get in the end zone, fam.
Right, yeah, and I'm not messing it up.
Oh, you could look at it one or two ways. You got one shot to get in, or you got one chance to fuck up.
Yeah.
Right.
One or the other. And I think in a lot of different ways, mentally, that holds us back. Because you don't, realistically, it's a case-by-case type of situation. You don't always have the one time, but you got to almost impress with flying colors.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right. That leads me to, some terrible news that we had, young rapper XXX Tentacion passed. And, there's a lot of controversy over, his history and what he did prior to his death. And, there's a lot of talk about people, I guess, forgiving him based on death for what he was, accused of and all that stuff. So, I mean, maybe some thoughts like, Chad, where you lie on that, because the young kid passed away, but he had a past. He had a history,
Right. I don't know too much about this kid. I did listen to a couple of songs before his passing, but I don't really know the depth of the things that he got into after his passing. I heard that he was domestic of violence or abuse or whatever.
Yeah.
I knew that much about it, but to the extent of what I'm hearing from everyone else, I don't really know it that much. But it's unfortunate. No matter what, it's still a human being.
Yeah. At
the end of the day, 20 years old, didn't really get to see out his life the way some of us are, and it's just unfortunate. It's not like he passed from something health related. He was killed by the hands of another human being, and I always struggle with that.
Yeah.
And it's always, especially when they recorded it. I think that's the part that hurts me the most is to like, this is like the 10th death that I've seen on social media. Been a lot, and to like my daughter, your son have the ability now to see someone's life flash before their eyes on social media, just like that. That hurts. Like that really bothers me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but these people aren't giving him a chance. There's two sides to every story.
No, I mean, there's people that we grew up knowing that got second chances.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's look at the R. Kellys and the Mike Tysons. There's a slew of celebrities and athletes.
R. Kelly got 9 lives, fam.
A slew of athletes and entertainers that have gotten not just one but like 20 shots.
Shit, athletes, all the time. There's something I've been seeing online, and by the way, I got to mention not only XXX Tentacion but also Jimmy Wapo out there in Pittsburgh. Couple of different cats. Just this year we've lost a lot, but there's something that's going on viral right now, and it's like, if Maya Angelou died when she was 20, she would have been a prostitute and a single mom. Michael X would have died at 20. He would have been known as the thief. What was that? Detroit Red.
Yeah.
And he would have been a woman beater and a drug addict.
Right.
These are things like, they are still that.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou was still a prostitute. She was still a single mom, but she had a lifetime to correct a lot of that.
Right.
And I think this kid, he was on the path of trying to, number one, you have to own it. And he was starting to own a lot of these negatives that he had in his life. And he was starting the process, and he was saying some real positive things. He was doing some positive actions. Does that make it right for him to be, to abuse his lady? Hell no.
Absolutely
Nobody's fucking condoning that shit.
Nope.
But you gotta give people a chance to right their wrongs. Now, if they're constantly going to be doing this, then they're shitbags.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're going to get what they have coming to them to die at 20 for some dumb
No.
shit, that's not worth it.
Right.
But I think in a lot of his music, a lot of the overtones in it was super aggressive.
Yeah.
It was super aggressive. And we talk about that hyper masculinity. Does it make it right? Well, maybe at 17, 18, 19, maybe this is the thoughts that he's thinking, well, I got to be this, right? The other thing is, think about the household that he grew up in.
Yeah.
I grew up in a single parent home, actually single grandparent home. There's a lot of stuff I could say right now. I won't mention any names. I had some really, really, really good friends, great people.
Yeah.
They got bodies. They've killed people. You know what I'm saying? And two of them are dead. Another one is in jail, probably for the rest of his life right now. But for the people who knew him, these were great guys. They didn't change their lifestyle. But you know what? Growing up, and you see this shit all the time, this must be what we have to be to make it out. So then you see now the times they are changing. The conversation is changing. Actually, the conversation now is there, as before it used to be packed away somewhere.
Right.
So now when you talk about hypermasculinity, it's not something that's new. It's something that's always been there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always been there. But now the conversations are, is this right? And now us as men, we have to listen to this conversation because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's going into a lot of different homes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had demons.
Absolutely.
We all have demons. We are all fighting something that we're looking to push through on, you know, and that he was at a point where he was at, you know, from my understanding, he was at a point where he was shedding out a lot more positivity in his life, and he was getting past those demons. I mean, those demons don't ever truly leave. It's just you learn how to manage them much better than you did before.
Talk to any recovering addict,
Right.
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yeah.
You think every day is easy for them? No,
Yeah.
because they thirst for whatever that vice was.
Right.
But they find a way, and
Yeah,
that comes through support. That comes through communication.
Yeah.
Eventually, it has to happen, and I think that's the point
Yeah.
where we're at right now. Now, the big question is, will the hypermasculine person, will they accept it? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what we're going through right now, is this social awakening, right? Like, people are thinking about it, and that's the part, whether it's XXX or Tekashi 69,
Right.
who's hyper masculine but still has rainbow hair, that still has all of these crazy antics that still compile up to this hyper masculine, you know,
Right.
character. Like, what does it mean? You know, do we shut him down, or are we waiting for him to change, you know, to realize that he is out here doing the most?
Yeah, I don't know. Him running up a field with guns.
Son, that was funny. I saw that. In pum pum shorts. Yo, the pum pums was popping. Pause.
Yo, he
right?
was running like the gun was heavier than he was.
See, I look at
Going
stuff
nowhere.
like this, man, and it's like, you see how we laughing, and you said it too. The character that this is. It may not
Right.
necessarily be the person,
Right.
right? But it's the character that a lot.
Yeah.
It's, when you look at social media, or you hear this. Like, I had this conversation the other day with the success of all of these projects that good music has put out, whether it be Pusha, Ye, Yang, Cudi, Nas, and now Tiana Taylor. Everybody canceled Kanye,
Done.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody canceled this cat.
Yeah.
But when you look at the streams, you look at the numbers, you look at the analytics,
Doesn't look like it.
doesn't look like he's been canceled.
Mm-mm.
You feel what I'm saying? So we can't just throw people away because we disagree with them. There has to be some type of conversation. There has to be some type of communication, at least for the thought of, let me try to understand why the fuck you think the way you think,
Right.
or why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, if we throw people away, you're gonna find yourself throwing your own family away.
Yeah.
And then somebody eventually, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna pull you on your bullshit
Yep.
because you've
Talk
done
about it.
something.
Talk
Yeah.
about it.
You just can't cancel people like that. So for everybody that says, like, you know, don't get me wrong, I think I understand the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
I think it was way overdue because these women should have had this voice and this power.
Yep.
But I also I'm scared sometimes because of the power of it and just the ability just to associate things very, very quick. Oh, it's him too. He's in it too.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yo, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. Whether it be me
Right.
or this other person, you have automatically, once they identify somebody, you're guilty
Yep.
until proven innocent.
I mean, I feel like, and I hate to be negative, Nigel, on this one, but it's gonna it's gonna be a big shift. I mean, we've had this power for so long, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we got to hold each other accountable, but also that we're gonna be generalized until the pendulum shifts back,
Right.
to that center place. And we might get accused of some shit that we probably didn't do. It's gonna be a hypersensitive time, but for this pendulum to shift back to a place where we understand each other, these women are going to have their time. They're going to have their shine, because we've been at this top for a minute now, right?
Yeah.
Since,
That's why I just stay my ass at home.
Yeah.
Man.
Yo, how y'all feel about this this Virgil show? You saw that moment between Kanye and Virgil.
Nah, so y'all know I've been bashing Off-White for a very long time. But I'm not gonna lie, that moment right there, it was emotional. Because all jokes aside, to see two friends sort of come from where they came from, and his best friend is running a Louis Vuitton show in Paris, is like the top of the echelon.
Hey, hold on. He is the creative director of Louis Vuitton. Don't have him come for you on this.
Don't have step on it.
Don't say like he's running the show like he's a production manager.
No. Yeah.
They was about to come for you. He was like, right? he already threw a dart at Off-White. Nah, fuck that. We got to get him.
Yeah.
They be coming for me, Rizzy, on this show. They be coming for me.
But, I mean, it's a very good display of, I mean, not to cut you off, but this hyper-masculinity part, right? Like, we talk about it, we see it. But then we also see two men, sharing a beautiful moment,
That was dope.
I thought that was powerful,
That was dope.
Yeah, especially internationally.
Right.
Because there's so many people who, they only get to see certain parts of us. And in the States, the context, we could decipher it a lot better than sometimes people internationally who are having a problem even figuring out the language barrier, right?
Yeah.
So it was good to see these two guys come together, especially when you have a song with, like Drake putting it out there talking about Kanye holding Virgil back, and maybe there was some slight, not friction. Friends go through things here and there, but to see them hug and embrace and tears, even though he fucked up Ye's hat, and I know Ye was like, chill,
he's like, yo, chill, fam.
chill. This shit is hot right here. You fucking my whole shit up right now. But it was just good to see. It was very, very good to see between those two, especially with the all the odds that were against him coming out of Chicago. And then I think this has been all part of Ye's plan, so to speak, to knock down these doors and now let his man flourish.
Have you seen the collection?
Yeah, I've seen the collection. I actually watched the full show, and I mean, I was just captivated by the black men. Don't pause all that, but to see our faces in a couture, atmosphere with all of these onlookers. Now, I still have some problems about, minstrel shows and doing all that, but it was good to see the non-masculine image of us kind of walking down in high fashion and, showing, that part of us that most people can't even visualize, right? They always see, what you see in the rap videos and all that stuff. So that was the part that I did appreciate.
Yeah, I hope it opens up doors.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I have some friends that are doing things on the fashion end, and I just hope it allows them to see us in a different light and know that we're more than just athletes, rappers, entertainers. Like, we really know how to step into a different industry and dominate and become major figures, especially in high-end fashion.
Yeah.
You're going to spend $1,200 on this shirt, and it's going to come from a Jerry Lorenzo or a Virgil, the likes of those guys. So it's pretty dope.
Being able to put the value, on it. I think sometimes, when you look at just pop culture overall, a lot of things that are hot usually come out of streetwear.
Right.
Usually comes from that African American community. Not all, but a lot of it does.
A lot of it.
Right? So I think if we start putting a lot more value on things, just ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's not just having that throwaway moment like, oh, it's here now, boop, we just got to dispose of it. Then you'll start to see, in our community, we start to put the value on it, and then you'll see that value permeate throughout other cultures, you know, other places, especially in other marketplaces, then you'll start to see that a little bit more. And being able to see this is just a small part, being able to see that visual out there in Paris, and you have so many people. I just feel like sometimes these big fashion houses, they like, oh, we got to get some hot rappers out here so we could be popping and we could get, you know, some looks out here. Now you're starting to see the game where these people they're coming to play in it. Yeah. And, you know, hopefully that puts some value to it, and we're able to take some more real estate in those marketplaces. Right. But we have to realize that.
Yeah. You know? I think that's a nice segue. The other point I was going to bring up is this deal with Jay-Z and Puma. I mean, I don't know all the details. Yeah. There's a lot of, you know, vague information out there, and maybe some thoughts on like what you think this means for Jay, for Puma. It could be a Barclays, you know, it could be just you know, a brand uplift on the Puma side, and whatever happens for Jay. But I mean, we're starting to see these bigger and bigger deals in streetwear and collaboration with
this was a long-term play in the making.
Yeah,
you know, this started a couple of years ago when Jay was starting to rock Puma. He got Emery got his own line with Puma. This was a long-term play, and I think this was something he's been planning. This is just an assumption, but I think this was part of the bigger plan for him, you know, because he had the concert series where he was doing the Pumas for 444. Emery's got his own line.
He's been creeping in, yeah.
Emery's coming up on his second
line
for Puma. And then now this, you know, like, obviously Jay has always had an affinity for athletics, you know, with Barclays, and then diving into the sports management side of the business, to now being able to blend the worlds of bringing some of the athletes from Rock Nation Sports into the sneaker deals with Puma. This is part of the bigger plan. He's moving really strategically out here, and I think it's really smart.
Oh, this has been part of the plan from the beginning. He's always said this. Like, he was going, and then, you know, he's self-proclaimed. I sell a water to a whale.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Yeah. It makes sense. I don't know. When I first heard of it, I said it makes sense because, you know, to have somebody like Hov, especially in the position that he holds at Rock Nation, and then especially the position that he holds in hip hop as well as the world, everybody knows who this guy is. It makes sense to put somebody in that play to at least bring light to this new division of Puma. My thing was basketball operations. Like, yo, how does this really go to work? I've never seen anybody outside of Clyde Frazier who won a chip in '73 wear, you know, Pumas. But now we're starting to see it. You know, I see Rudy Gay working out in them. They just signed Marvin Bagley III as well as Ayton. Or I forget, was it? It was two people. Wendell Carter? I forget. I know Marvin Bagley for sure. So they just signed two pretty much lottery picks to the line. So I think you're going to see movement in it, and it's only going to get bigger. It's going to snowball a bit. My thing is, let's come back to this maybe after 365 days or maybe a year and a half from now, and really just see what the growth has been.
Yeah, I think it's there for Puma. Quite honestly, I think it takes one athlete to do it.
Because Puma's never been a trash, you know, brand. Like, it's always been respected under the radar.
Yeah, Puma predominantly has been on the football or soccer side of the business, and then
international company.
Yeah, international, and then for us locally, it's been part of the staple for hip hop.
Right now, lifestyle they've really done very, very well. Think about Fenty with Rihanna, Big Sean, like you just said, the whole stuff that he had during 444, Jay-Z, talking about Jay-Z. I mean, you're going to see them, I think, get a little bit more, but you got to understand the basketball marketplace. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm a fucking authority when it comes to the basketball world, especially professionally.
Yeah.
But Nike has a good chunk of that. Adidas is really starting to get a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
But who's to say that they can't get a piece? A sliver of that is still billions of fucking dollars.
Right. Well, think about it. Let's just say 10 years ago, Nike and Adidas really ran basketball from a athletic apparel and footwear business, right? But now Under Armour has really stepped the game up. Kids are looking for these Steph Currys to drop.
Yeah, which is crazy.
My nephew said he wanted a pair of Steph Curry's. I'm like, you're bugging. You
Yo,
getting these
get
threes.
trash out of here.
Right, but yo, he's on like his third iteration of a Curry.
And they get better each time.
They get the latest ones.
They look
Remember
great.
when I hit you, Rizzy, and I was like, yo, these new Currys
They
is
look
kind of
good.
dope.
They look really good.
They look dope. So I think all it takes is one athlete like a Steph Curry or a Michael Jordan or a Kobe or a LeBron to really step into that sneaker and do well. And these kids will gravitate to Puma.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not like they out here talking about, yo, let me get them new Klay Thompsons.
Right.
Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That shit's
Get
not
the fuck
happening.
out of here.
Right.
But, you know, it's Hove, man. They got a great team up there.
Yeah, chill.
I think you're going to be good, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's dope. I'm excited for Puma.
What we fake caring about this week? I know every week. So Rick, every week we got a segment that says, you know, what we fake caring about.
Right.
We talk about it. We talk about Starbucks. We talk about H&M. We talk about Kanye. We talk about anything under the sun. What is it this week that we fake caring about?
Shit, I have no idea. To be honest with you, I'm fake caring about gas prices, but
Yo, word.
because summer's here, you know, electricity bill is
Yo,
here,
it's
air conditioner is
crazy.
here. But I'll leave this one to y'all, and I'll jump on the bandwagon, man.
I don't have anything. I mean, it's been. I really do care about these things that I'm caring about, but obviously we fake cared about Kanye because now, you know, I'm over here tearing up watching him and Virgil cry. You know,
Right.
Right. Yo, we fake caring about these Don C's that just dropped or they're getting ready to drop. Have you seen them?
yeah, and
Them British
and I
Knights.
closed the window.
Talking about them British Knights.
Right. Yeah.
You know what? Look, man, I will never. I'll always root for everything black. I'll always root for
hear
everything
you.
black.
I hear
And
you.
he's knocking down some doors, and he's able to do this. Go for it. Go
I
for
hear
it.
you.
There's a bunch of dudes in Brooklyn though, like sucking their teeth right now, though, boy. I just want to be clear. Be clear about it.
Yeah, that's the only thing is I had a I'm a huge sneaker fan, so you know I care about the culture. I'm starting to care a little bit less every time I buy a pair. But I saw this.
You hear that, Danny? You hear that, Danny?
We getting closer.
We getting there.
I did just buy these new Vapor Maxes though.
I saw those.
Fire. Yo, I think really quick. So we in the mall this past weekend. It's a Saturday. It's the day before Father's Day. I go on Foot Action and I see these Vapor Maxes. It's a Volt color, and Danny was in another store. I text her the picture of them. I'm like, yo, what about these for Father's Day? And no response. She totally curved me, right? Totally curved me, and then we went home.
So
that night.
if you don't know what that means, like I know people know what curve being mean, but I'm gonna add something new, a new wrinkle to that.
Okay.
So if you have an iPhone and your text is just left on blue, we call that blue dot Ciroc.
Yo, word.
If you don't get no response, and that's just blue dot Ciroc. So we just go to name that right now, right here on the Abstract Square podcast.
Yeah,
blue
blue
dot
dot
Ciroc.
Ciroc. Yeah. So yo, we get
Sip
home
on it.
that
Just let
night.
it sit.
Yeah. We get home that night. I'm like, yo, you see my text? Nope.
She lying.
Right. I'm like, yo, you really didn't get my text? Nope. Just like that with the extra.
Yeah.
She
I'm
not
like,
playing.
all right, so I went online. I'm trying to find these sneakers, yo, so I could buy them online. So I got to go back to the mall because in my mind, I'm like, yo, you don't buy them, I'm gonna buy them. So I cannot find them anywhere. They are nowhere to be found online. I go back the next day. You know, I copped them. Yo, I think Foot Action released these sneakers a little too early.
How you? I
They
mean,
just sitting there?
Yeah. Yo, no Foot Locker, none of the boutique stores in New York. This is New York City. And I'm like texting all my sneakerhead friends like, yo, you seen these anywhere? No one has seen them. One of my guys was like, yo, did you Nike ID those? And I'm like, no. Foot Action. They dropped the ball.
No, they didn't really, because
I got them.
yeah, you got them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Orlando.
I don't know what you complaining about.
Right.
Over there.
I'm not.
Came up.
I came up. It's just I'm a little shocked.
Oh, you know what we fake caring about? Drake. We fake cared about it with Pusha T, and I think this little billboard rollout. You seen
Side A,
Ah.
side B.
Yeah, you seen side A, side B. He's got like a couple of billboards that are going up. So he's trying to come for this push. I mean, no pun intended, for this rollout. I don't know. I think we might fake care about Drake because it's all about the music. Like,
so I've said this all. In fact, this week when we were talking about it up on Shade 45 Sirius XM, I'm up there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Right.
4
Just
p.m.
go ahead and give them the discount code too, yo.
Yeah, SiriusXM.com/Gray Rizzy 30. Get your 30-day trial.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Right on Shade 45.
there it is, baby.
For the longest time, I was trolling Drake, and I was just like, yo, just send the file. Nobody cares about the press release, the statements, all the blackface, why you did it, why you didn't do it. Just send the file.
Right.
We just want to hear the music. Well, we're gonna get the music, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. He's gonna rule the summer, most likely into the fall. I don't see him falling flat on his face. People are gonna love him like they've always loved him.
Right.
It's just that the hip hop purists, they're gonna be like, you gotta wear that. You gotta wear that L.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a real billboard that says "Don't hit me when you hear this"?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, Drake is doing what he's doing best. He's being petty.
He is.
He's talking to the women. He's sliding in DMs. He's talking about Courtney from Peachtree on Hooters or Hooters on Peachtree. Like Drake is coming with his best.
The Six
petty.
is watching. Yo, he is super petty.
And if anything, though, he's human. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen some of the women he's been caught with lately? Like, yo, fellas, stop putting all this pressure on yourself to get all these generic, like, modified women. You know what I'm saying? Just be you with these great, beautiful, normal women that are out there. Look at Drake. Natural women. Yeah, even though the woman he was with wasn't natural.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he dropped the ball on the last one. Man, he dropped the ball.
Well,
he literally
he
did.
dropped some things. I don't know if it was the ball, but he dropped some things.
Yeah.
Yo, so the last segment before we get out of here. Any challenges for our listeners? What are we gonna? So, Rizzy, if you don't know, we like to hold challenges for our listeners, as they go through the week. So, any challenges that you would like to present to the listeners?
That's a good question, man. I challenge y'all to stop all the smoke and mirror shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been talking about this a lot over the last couple of days. Stop all the smoke and mirror shit and just be you. Just be you. Fuck a filter too. Fuck a filter. Fuck just doing all this shit for the gram. Just
no makeup.
Be you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want a candid, then really be candid. It's all about candid shots in 2018. Really be candid. Be yourself.
I think my challenge this week is cut the negative energy out of your life, period. So if it bothers you, it makes you feel some type of way, get rid of it.
Right.
Done off, move along, and deal with it when you're in a better headspace because there's too much going on right now. Get rid of that negative.
Yeah. My challenge for everyone is to just restore balance.
Hey.
Restore balance in your life. Restore balance at your job. Restore balance in your relationship at home. Restore balance with your finances. Like, literally just get back to being mentally balanced.
I hear that. That means Danny gonna get a purse since you got them Vapor Maxes?
That means
yeah.
Yo, balance that out quick.
Right. I should get this tote bag.
Right.
Nah. But nah, because I think we go, especially at work, right? There's a lot of us do not work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, we take our work home and we work through the night. Even myself, you know, this is a challenge for myself as well. You know, and so we don't have balance, and we allow certain aspects at work to just take over and cause disruption mentally for us. And that's an imbalance, and we need to just restore a balance and set some realistic expectations for ourselves and everyone else that we deal with, and just, you know, keep it cool.
I hear that.
Yeah, man. If I could just say one thing too, man. Black love doesn't mean you hate everything else. It's just you need to go ahead. I just want to get to this myself even more. We got to embrace each other more. We got to lift up each other more. We just got to salute each other more because, damn, we fucking special, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We are special people for all the shit that we go through on the daily just to turn the other cheek and keep it moving. Like, we are a special people. It does not mean you have to hate everyone else, though. Just love us more.
Yeah. I hear that.
All right, so I'll go fucking buy those Don C's.
Yeah.
Go support my man Don C.
Fine.
Chicago, what up? Hustle Simmons, what's up?
I'll go get an off-white T-shirt.
There you go.
Then I'll imbalance my pockets.
It
Damn.
sure will. Shit, you were upside down real quick.
Word, but for the listeners, I thank you guys. Continue to rate, review, and listen. Hit us on Abstract Square Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook. Hit us on our direct IGs. You got the tags. Rizzy, thank you.
Thank you, Riz.
Appreciate you, man. I love coming up. It's nice what y'all did with the spot. I like that.
Thank you. You know, we try over here. Like, so you're not a guest, man. So anytime you want to, just don't knock on the door. You just come through.
I'm going in refrigerators and all that, pouring my own red Kool-Aid.
Red Kool-Aid and everything. All right, y'all. Abstract Square Podcast. We appreciate y'all. Holla.
Holla.
Chill.